In this video, I'm gonna count down the top 5 lenses that I have tried, reviewed and was impressed by this year. I do shoot with a lot of different lenses all the time. I am privileged to have access to lenses from different brands for reviews, and occasionally I come across the lenses that simply stand out and lenses that I just enjoy shooting with. So here is my top 5 of 2022. Links to full lens reviews are below, so if you are interested in any of these lenses, you can check the full reviews after watching this. Links below. Number 5 is Sigma 20mm f1.4 art. This lens has come out only recently, and although Sigma had already 20mm f2 DGD and contemporary in their catalog, this new 20mm is on a different level. Classic Sigma art here, very sharp, beautiful color and contrast, and overall joy to shoot with. This focal length suits itself to everything from landscape to interiors and anything in between. Great for shooting in tighter spaces and to get more in the frame. I found it particularly great for video work. It is small and light enough to be used on a gimbal, and the performance it delivers is simply outstanding. I think it is the best 20mm out there right now. It is available for Sony E-mount and L-mount cameras. Although not dirt cheap, it is cheaper than the Sony version, and in my opinion, better one too. At number 4 is Lumix 18mm f1.8. Yes, another wide-angle prime. This one is the last in a set of identical looking f1.8 primes released by Panasonic and designed specifically for their S line of cameras. Although all the lenses in a set are very similar optically, I think the 35mm, which was in my top 5 at the end of last year, and this one really stand out. This 18mm is a great all-rounder. Not only great wide angle with a very low distortion, superb sharpness, but also a lens that can focus really close to capture close-ups too. I do love unusual perspective and look that wide angle, wide aperture primes like this one deliver when shooting close-ups. This lens is superb for all kinds of video work too. 18mm enhances the sense of motion well when using a gimbal. Great for handheld vlogging, and a lens that, even though it is wide angle prime, pretty versatile for everyday usage. Price-wise, it closely competes with the Sigma 20mm I just talked about. It is wider though, smaller, and it is a Lumix lens designed and optimized for Lumix cameras. I really like it, and I'm a proud owner of this one that I use on a regular basis. At number 3, Tamron 35 to 150mm f2 to f2.8. What can I say? This beast is in a category of its own. There's literally no other lens like this on the market right now. Tamron recently have been brilliant coming up with lenses that truly stand out and have very practical, versatile focal ranges. This one being the daddy of them all. It's big, it's heavy, and it costs a lot too, but this focal range and the wide aperture are very appealing to a lot of photographers or filmmakers. This lens can replace a lot of lenses in the camera bag, and it can be just one lens for pretty much everything. This is a pro lens with a lot of pro features and the pro image quality to match. You get what you pay for though. There's very hard to find anything wrong with it, and it is one of these lenses that is an investment that will just keep giving every time you use it. If you ever thought that you don't know what lens you need, this is it. It ticks literally all the boxes. And number 2 is Sigma 16 to 28mm f2.8. Third wide angle lens in this countdown, but the zoom, not the prime this time. Until this lens came out, there was nothing like it in this price range and this focal length. Well, there was Tamron 17 to 28mm f2.8, which was seriously lacking something for me, and it was only Tamron lens that I have owned but not reviewed it. Didn't like it. When I have started shooting with this Sigma 16 to 28mm, I knew that I found a perfect compact wide angle zoom instantly. It is Sigma, modern Sigma lens, and the quality it delivers is just given. There's no surprise that it is sharp and it delivers great color and contrast, but there's so much more to it. It is small, light, and it zooms in internally. The lens does not extend, so there's no need to rebalance the camera when filming from the gimbal and when changing the focal length when zooming in or out. Even though it belongs to Sigma's lower class contemporary series, this lens has got all the optical issues that plague so many modern lenses all under control. On point autofocusing, no vignetting, almost zero chromatic aberration, and the flaring is really under control too. This is my go-to lens when I need a versatile light lens when I'm on the move. Not only perfect for photography, for shooting landscape or architecture, but also for video, vlogging specifically. I love this lens to have with me when I go super light, just the camera lens and the mic when shooting handheld, when vlogging. It does also focus close, giving you not only very decent wide-angle zoom range, but also a lens perfectly suitable for close-up photography too. I have sold my Tamron 17-28 to replace it with this, and I'm not regretting it. Pretty much a perfect wide-angle zoom. And the number one this year is this Sony 50mm f1.2 G Master. This lens is special and deserves to be a number one on any lens countdown, especially this one. I have reviewed it in April this year. I had one on loan from Sony for 2 weeks to make my review with, and I liked it so much that I bought it a week after returning the sample one to Sony. I've always been a fan of 50mm lenses. I have used Sigma 50mm f1.4 art for years for my own photography and pretty much for all of my commercial work, and I needed an upgrade. I think this is my personal opinion that this is the best and perfect 50mm lens. The best money can buy. It's not cheap, it's more expensive than a lot of mirrorless Sony cameras, but it is f1.2 ultra wide aperture prime bearing G Master badge for a reason. f1.2 aperture is not common, and until recently, until the evolvement of mirrorless cameras, they were just gimmicky. I remember people buying f1.2 and even f1.4 lenses and not ever shoot them wide open, as they simply weren't sharp wide open. This is something else. It has got no problem acquiring focus where you want it at the aperture wide open, and this wide aperture can really give superb subject to background separation and bokeh. Until now, I just switched to 35mm. This video was filmed with it. I film all my talking to the camera on my videos with it. It is my number one lens for all the interview filming. It is my number one lens for all of B-roll that I shoot for my channel, as well as my main lens for all of my commercial photography and video work. Perfect for portrait. Is the focal length that I am the most comfortable with when shooting people. It is simply the best all-rounder I've ever used, and a lens that I don't see as overpriced toy, but a must-have tool and an investment. I don't actually ever put it directly into my camera bag. It only goes in its soft case in, so it doesn't scratch or get dusty. I like it new, and it's only one lens that I have ever owned that I feel like that about. It is just perfect and my number one this year. What next year might bring? Hopefully a competition to this from Sigma, the new 50mm, hopefully f1.22, Sigma 70-200 f2.8, long overdue. Why is it taking them so long to make that lens? New Sony 85mm f1.2 G Master, maybe. Tamron might bring more odd focal ranges too, who knows? Yes, please. Whatever it is going to be, I'll try to get my hands on it and review it for you here on my channel. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next year. And we are rock and rolling. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing. At number 3, Tamron 35-150mm. If you ever thought that you... whatever it is going to be,